What's a secret you won't share with anyone in person, but you are willing to share anonymously? Part 1. There is a snake that lives in the wall along the stairs leading to my basement. He has his area, and I have mine, and we respect each other's space. I found some kind of dangerous-looking snake in my armored vehicle when I was in the army. I was recovering from surgery and wasn't really concerned with maintenance on the vehicle, so I just left one, the snake, alone. On this particular vehicle, 1068A3, you need to open the front hatch, driver's hole, and climb through to pop the back door, allowing entry. One liked to curl up somewhere on the floor in between. This vehicle was a training vehicle, not combat ready, so not airtight or nuclear/biological/chemical proof. I assume one came through the floor, I don't know, didn't really care. My painkillers told me one was my friend and we didn't bother each other. One day I'm told I'll be training a brand new private. I walk, crutch, her to the motor pool and verbally explain, with 1 foot and 2 crutches on the ground, how to open the vehicle. As her head disappears through the driver's hatch I yell to her, "Oh, and don't step on one, I don't know if he's dangerous." I hear her climbing over rent pieces and she says, "Who's due? Oh my god, Terry's a snake in here." Yup, that's one. Hurry up and pop the back, my knee is killing me. The back door flies open and she raced across the motor pool, trying like hell to get away from this poor snake. Ate a huge sub at Subway. On my way out I let out a massive fart. I then drove to a gas station. I got out of my car and some old lady quickly parks her car behind me and angrily slams her car door, comes up to my face and starts screaming, "Just who do you think you are? Farting in my face like that, you're lucky I didn't calls the cops on you." She writes down my license plate number and drives off fast. I stood there confused for like 5 minutes. I never told this to anyone. The first time I did acid I was by myself and ended up masturbating into an old mostly empty chocolate whey protein tub. I also pissed in it afterwards because I was too afraid to walk downstairs to the bathroom, tripping as hard as I was. I also forgot about it in my closet for a year and rediscovered it totally unaware of what was inside, and I opened and smelled the contents. Worst smell you can possibly imagine. I thought I learned how to tie my shoes when my mom showed me in pre-K, and I went around telling everyone I knew how to tie my shoes. The next time I tried to tie them though, it turned out I forgot how, but I was too embarrassed to ask for help. I didn't learn how to tie my shoes until I was 18 or 19. I don't really want to be with my girlfriend romantically, but she's my best friend, and I don't want to lose her from my life, so I won't break it off. I told my husband when I felt like this and me and him worked through it. I love him so much and I'm so happy that I didn't just leave. Honesty is key. I'm the reason my cousin is mentally handicapped. We are the same age, and when we were 7 our grandpa bought dirt bikes for us. Well, we decided to make our own trail in the woods, took the entire summer. I put this tree branch purposely at roughly head level, just so he could duck under it and it would look awesome. The branch was heavy, but I was able to sit it conveniently between 2 trees. He was more brave than me, so he went first. Being dumb kids, we didn't wear helmets. I yelled for him to duck, but he didn't and hit his head on the branch, got knocked backwards and hit his head again straight into the ground. I told everyone it was an accident. Grandpa sold the dirt bikes. I didn't see my cousin a whole lot after that. That was nearly 25 years ago. I see him every Christmas, and it's always the same. In a wheelchair, being spoon-fed by his mum. He can't speak, he likes to draw funny shapes. He most likely doesn't remember the incident, and I don't know if he remembers me. But that's what haunts me. When I was younger I pooped in a water slide and saw my poop floating the entire day in the pool on the end of the slide. I broke up with my ex-boyfriend because he was cheating. He and his best friend decided to break into my apartment and wait for me to get home from going out. What started out as a chance for him to talk some sense into me and get me back turned into them keeping me hostage, raping and beating me for 18 hours. I never told anyone what happened because they threatened me. My family never understood why I broke up with him and they still invited him to family functions. I would go to holidays and he would show up. I asked them not to but they still did. I stopped going around them and they have no idea why. I miss my nephews and nieces but I can't go around them and risk seeing him, and at this point it's been so long since it happened that I don't think they will believe me. I just want the pain of what happened and having to lose my family over it to end, but it never does. Edit, thank you so much for your kind words and support and some of your offers to hurt them lol. I would love nothing more. I took your advice and made an appointment to see a therapist yesterday. I got on the 25th for my first appointment and I hope it will be the start of being able to talk about and get over this. Thank you again. You guys really helped me. Edit, further update because of the huge amount of positive feedback and encouragement I have received. I went to my therapy appointment and have continued to go every week. I am seeing a lot of things I can and have already changed in myself, so I won't choose the wrong type of people to have in my life. I have reached out to my parents. I haven't told them everything yet. I am just not ready and I am okay with that. I will be okay one day and hopefully they will be understanding and loving like I see them being in my head. For now I am working on me and really that's all I can do. My therapist suggested I try dating and I did, but I saw a few red flags right away and was instantly turned off. I just don't think it's the right course of action for me right now, and again, that's okay. My therapist always ends our session by saying one sunset at a time. And that's how I am going to live my life. I want to murder my daughter's childhood rapist. It was her mother's boyfriend and it happened when she was 10. I found out about this only after many years. My daughter knows that I know but she refuses to talk about it and will not bring charges against him. Maybe out of fear, or she is moving past it, I don't know. Only the daunting specter of a life sentence in prison stops me from hunting him down and killing the boss. If I magically got a pass from the police, 10/10 he is 6 feet under. On the day of our 10-year wedding anniversary I found that my wife had been talking to a guy online, trading pics, talking about possibly leaving me for about a month and a half. I sort of knew the guy through the guild my wife and I were in, World of Warcraft. The night before when I got home from work she was telling me some jokes he had told her and I found it strange that she found them as funny as she did. I felt like it wasn't something she would normally laugh at. So while we were on the couch watching TV, I logged into her Discord account and the first thing I saw was "I'd send you butt pics but I'm being supervised." I immediately excused myself and went to bed. I didn't know what to think, so I just shut down. Upon waking up in the morning I googled a script that would download Thea chat history from Discord and I read it all. My heart broke when I read "I'm so angry at husband when he's not with me, but I'm fine when he's here." My heart shattered the first time I saw her say "I love you" in the chat logs. It shattered again when I saw "I thought banging husband a bunch would cure my horniness, but it hasn't." I haven't cried in. Fuck, I can't even remember the last time I cried, but I cried 3 times while reading the logs. It was a sick train ride of deep sadness, despair, and anger seeing the progression of this happening. Getting further into the logs I see them arguing, resolving said arguments and then arguing again. At one point she exclaims to him she doesn't know why she's doing this and that she really loves me but he's like her kryptonite and she can't help it. I can see both of them pushing each other away, yet still trading pics, presumably through Snapchat, although I can't prove it, every so often. By the end of the logs it appeared to me that they were basically masturbating buddies whenever one or the other got horny, I guess. It seemed like any relationship had run its course and they were just mechanically, or habitually, doing this. I confronted her. Said "Happy anniversary. Do we have another year?" Told her I found the logs and read them. She explained how it happened, that we did have another year, she didn't know how to end it once she realized what she was doing, that she didn't really cheat on me, that she would immediately block him on everything. I was pretty catatonic for almost a week. It's about 6 weeks later now. We seem to be doing fine now, I think. The trust is still broken though, and I still find myself wanting to log into all her accounts to check on things if she leaves her phone out or computer on. I am doing mostly okay at this point, though sometimes I'll hear or see something that reminds me of everything, like when I saw this post title, and I'll have an attack of depression? I guess. Hard to explain. I haven't talked to anyone about this because I still love her and I don't want my family and friends to hate her. Now, I feel like I should note why she was angry with me since I mentioned it but didn't really explain. She was angry because she felt like I wasn't doing anything / enough around the house. She talked to me about that, while she was already talking to him. Now, I felt like I was doing plenty and she just wasn't recognizing it. However, I still took her complaint seriously. So I started writing down everything I did around the house in a sort of daily journal, from picking up trash, cleaning up cat puke, taking care of the little one, to picking up her old coffee mugs and used Splenda packets. I'm still doing this, because I realized while I was doing things around the house before I started the documentation it was hard to say how much I was actually doing because most of it seems inconsequential by itself and I would forget what I had done, making it hard to say I wasn't just being lazy. When tracking it though it's much easier to remember, without looking at the journal, and it all added together is actually a lot that I do. Plus, it's just satisfying to see the pages fill up from margin to margin with all of that stuff. Anyways, thanks for this post. It's been really good to actually say something about this. I revealed to a Reddit friend fact I am a closet schizophrenic who has had daily conversations for 40 years with my daughter who passed away as an infant. I cannot tell you how liberating it was to finally share something that I couldn't even reveal to my therapist. Now that I am Reddit outed, I've shared the news with my husband, best friend, and therapist. What did I learn? That they suspected my condition all along, and are unconditionally supportive. I've been homeless for a while and I have a job interview at CVS tomorrow at noon. I'm so goddamn terrified. I need this job so badly. I'm desperate. Edit, thank you for the well wishes Reddit. I'm excited to head into this interview, and nervous, but well, I am hopeful. I will edit again once the interview is over, letting you all know how it went. Edit 2, I got the job guys. Edit 2.5, guys, I don't appreciate being called a hobo and other names. I wouldn't wish my situation on anyone. Life can be hard for a lot of people. I have a phone because it's dangerous for a woman to be alone like this and not have one. I hope you all never have to be on the receiving end of the names. Smile. Edit 3, thank you for the guild friend. Edit 4, well it's been a month, and I'm settling in very nicely. I've had nothing but praise from my boss, who as an appreciation for my hard work has put in paperwork for me to get a raise and promotion. I'm so excited. I love where I'm working, have found a place to stay for a while and have begun to make roots. I can't thank all of you enough for your support and kind words. My mom and her boyfriend abused me and my 2 younger siblings, brother and sister, when we were very young. I was the oldest, at age 5 at the time of my brother's first birthday, when I noticed something wasn't right. But at 5 I didn't really understand what was going on, and I thought abuse was normal. Until one day, a few days after my brother's birthday, she told me my brother was sick and that he needed to go to the hospital. I didn't think much about it and said my goodbyes, as my mom dropped me off at my aunt's house on the way to the hospital. I arrived at my aunt's house, she gave me a bath, and me and my cousins played and watched television until it turned dark. Then something went wrong. We heard a knock on the door. I heard, and started after the door, thinking my mom was here with my baby brother. I was thinking he was okay and everything was fine. My aunt opened the door, and started to cry. I tried to piece it all together before I realized there were 2 tall men at the door. Police officers. They picked me up and told me I had to go away. I remember screaming for my aunt and I didn't get to say goodbye. At the time I didn't understand what was happening at all. I even thought maybe they were picking me up and taking me to my mother. We arrive at a place I cannot remember much about, where they fed me and took care of me that night until the sun came up. After I had woken up, it was off to another location. They were taking me to a foster home. I was living with a large family I didn't know, and it was all too scary for me. I stayed there for a few weeks until I was moved somewhere else. There I waited in a room when I saw somebody I knew. My grandparents and my sister. But my brother wasn't there. I began to worry that he was still sick. I got so excited still, and even more so learning that they were taking me home. That's when they began to explain to me where I was and why all of this had happened. All the abuse and neglect was too much for him. He wasn't sick. He was dying. And the reason why I was taken away was simply because my mother, and her boyfriend, was charged for abusing us, and causing him to pass away. All this didn't really faze me at the time, since I was still just a child. But after the years I started to blame myself for not being able to do anything about it, even though I was so young and couldn't possibly do so. Every year, on his birthday, I go to where he was buried and put a flower on his grave. My aunt told me he loved yellow, so I always make sure to get yellow flowers, and maybe a small toy I think he would have liked. And sometimes I wonder if he's up there, looking down on me, and likes the fact that I still visit him every year. My wife cheated on me with a professional soccer player. She claims to not have had sex with him, but I don't know if I can believe her. Before I found out by looking at her phone. She did not tell me. We were having arguments and just not getting along. One night I finally had enough and approached her to discuss what was happening to us. It was then that she told me that she didn't know if she loved me anymore. 2 weeks later I found sexual pictures of her sent to him, texts between him and her that discussed getting together to hook up, and the most hurtful things a wife could say about her husband. At this point I understood why she was feeling detached from me. All her emotional needs were being met by this other man. We have 3 amazing kids. A son and 2 daughters. 10, 9, 7 respectively. They are such good kids. I am dumbfounded that my wife would do this. We have been together for 20 years and married for 14. I think back to when she loved me and we were so happy. Life has been challenging for us, but not any different or difficult than most couples. I am so in love with her. She is an amazing mom, extremely beautiful to me, and has a very attractive bubbly personality that everyone loves. I am so proud that she is my wife. At least I was. Fast forward to now, it's roughly been 7 to 8 months, she has yet to show any remorse or show me any affection. I'm so lonely, sad, afraid, and ashamed. I am very ashamed to say that I have thought about suicide. That way she would be rid of me and she could be happy. Of course that I could never do that to my kids. They would be so hurt and confused. At this point I pray that I will get a fatal disease or have a fatal accident. We have been and still are going to counseling. She did end the relationship with the other man the day after I found out. She did say she loves me but is not romantically in love with me. Her actions are just not showing me much. I haven't told a soul except the counselor. Close friends of mine always ask me what is wrong. My brothers and parents do the same. I don't want them to think that my wife is anything but a good wife and lover. Pushing through. Hopefully this has a good ending. Thanks for reading. Throw away. When I was a little girl, 3 or 4, I had a friend who came over to my house to play. She liked for the 2 of us to play in the doghouse in the backyard, where she would try to get me to play a game that she said her dad played with her. The game involved touching each other in ways an adult should never touch a child. My mom thought it was weird that the girl always wanted to play in the doghouse with me and so got rid of the doghouse pretty quickly. I didn't understand what the game meant then, and it took 2 decades for me to realize just what it meant. It was like lightning just struck me one day and I suddenly remembered the incident and understood what it meant. That little girl was abused by her dad and I can't even remember her name. I still haven't gotten the courage to ask my mom if she remembers the girl. I've never tried to find her. I have never told anybody and I'm ashamed of my cowardice. Update: thank you all for your support, kind words, and encouragement. I spoke with my mom about everything tonight and she remembers the little girl. I know her name and I'm going to try and find her.